Hey, DriveShaft Drew here. Well, it looks like I might have a problem with my truck finally. I got some clunking in the front end, and today on the highway I got a little bit of a shudder in it, and I got a funny suspicion that it might be a wheel bearing. I'm not 100% positive, but we're going to check this out, so I just figured I'd put it on video here, and yeah, we'll just check and see if it's a ball joint or a wheel bearing or what it is. I'm just going to turn on a few lights here so we got some light. And yeah, I would say by the feel of it, it's probably on the passenger side. I'll just grab a blanket here so I can line up my jack and stuff. I'm not going to get all fancy here. I'm just going to slide the jack under it and check it out and see if that's what it is. I'm thinking it's either a ball joint or a wheel bearing, but my guess is a wheel bearing. Not making noise or nothing, it's just that I got that shudder and a quick bang. So we're going to start with jacking up to one side here. Yeah, that's not good. Hang on a sec, I gotta put you guys down. Watch the blanket for a minute. Just so I line up the jack. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Okay. We're getting up there, so I'm not even gonna bother putting the jacks down or nothing on it. I'm gonna get it up off the ground. We'll start with this side just to see. Like I say, I'm not positive what it is yet, but that's all solid, so the tie rods are good. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's a wheel bearing. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm pushing it there, and the whole thing's moving. So let's just confirm that this is a wheel bearing and not a ball joint. Go under here, and I don't know how good you guys can see it, but let's just try and move the tire a bit. Yeah, you see a CV shaft there, how it's moving up and down? The ball joint's not moving at all, so it is definitely a wheel bearing. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to need some parts, and I'm going to be doing a wheel bearing on this thing. So everything else looks decent. CV shafts look good. Okay, I guess I found my problem. So I was right. It's definitely a wheel bearing. So we'll continue this once I get some parts, which I won't be able to do tonight because they're already closed. So I guess tomorrow will be a project for tomorrow. So, hey guys, DriveShaft Drew here. Remember yesterday I was telling you I had a bad wheel bearing. I just went ahead and jacked it up and put on my wheel chucks and my jack stands and stuff like that. And we are going to change the wheel bearing. I went and got the part this morning. And why would you want to focus? There you go. That's the part number that's on the box. And that's apparently the complete hub assembly for my truck. 2003 Ford Ranger, 4-wheel drive with ABS. And this is what we got right there. So there's your hub assembly. I'll just stick it back in there so I don't wreck it. And it comes with the ABS wire pre-built in, just so you guys know. But anyways, yeah. Anyway, we got the part. So what I'm going to do is start by taking off the tire. I'm not going to show step by step and how to take off the tire and stuff like that. I'm just going to strip it down and then we'll get back to it. While I'm doing that, I got Curtis playing around in the background here. He came over, so I told him to clean up his mess, so I got room to work.
Hey, half this is your mess.
So he's cleaning up the mess. He's doing something useful. So
cleaning up the mess to make a bigger mess to bring home more toys.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's got a mess to clean up over there. And like I say, I got my wheel chocks on there already. Got my jack stands already on. I'm going to take off the tire and set up a few tools, and we'll go like that. So once I got the tire off and that, I'll go step by step with you guys later. Okay, tires off the truck. I just threw the nuts into the wheel there, left the socket there for when I want to put it back together. What I like to do first is grab some rust penetrating oil and stuff, and just give a couple of squirts to here. And I've already took the liberty of breaking free the two 15 mil bolts that you need to take off the brake hub assembly here. There's two 15 mil bolts, one right here where the ratchet is and one down below. So I've taken the liberty of breaking those free. So we'll just take that off, and we're going to hang this up on the side. And basically it's just those two bolts, and then pry it off and you hang it up to the side. And then this here, they say in specs that it's a 32 mil. Well, 32 mil, I found it very loose on there. So I went checking around, and I found out that it's actually 1 1/4 is what works better for me. So in my case, I'm using 1 1/4 with it. And basically all you do is take this and you just zip that off with the impact. Take a wire brush first and just clean around here before you try and impact it off, just to make sure that you don't destroy your threads or you're not taking it off, because if you do, now you're looking for a new nut, and these nuts are probably around 20 bucks if you have to go buy one. So just be careful when you're taking it off that you don't strip anything. Make sure your threads are clean before you even attempt to take it off. And yeah, take your time doing it. And once that nut's off, I'll bring you guys back. So what I'm going to do is take that nut off. I'm going to hang this off to the side, and then I'll bring you guys back from there. So we'll go ahead. Okay, one thing I should have mentioned, when you're taking this nut off, I already loosened it, but there's two ways now to get your axle out. One, you can just take a hammer, leave your nut on so it's flush with the end so you don't damage the thread, and you can just tap on here till it goes in all the way. The other way is just with using like an air hammer, and you just put the air hammer to the center of here, and that's the better way to do it. Put your air hammer in here, give it a couple whacks, it pops it back, and you're basically done. So I'll do that next. What I did is I just took off it all in one shot. I didn't even take the caliper off of the rotor. Just hung it all up from the top there, and it just hangs. Brake line's nice and secure where it is. Rotor's good where it is. And I just been storing my parts in the rim here, so.
Brake line's not too tight there, Dad?
Nope, not at all. It's fine. But anyways, yeah, this here you can take the nut right off, use the air hammer, or leave the nut on, use the air hammer, whichever way you feel more comfortable. I like to leave the nut on, use the air hammer, give it a little zip back, just pops the axle out, and then you can take it off from there. Then a lot of people take this plate off. You can sometimes have to take it off just to be able to bang on the back here once it's loosened off. You got 3 nuts at the back that you have to undo yet. So I'm going to loosen off those 3 nuts at the back. Then I'm going to pop out my axle, and then we're going to go from there. So I'll show you guys that in a minute. I just wanted to add this before I go any farther, guys. Just so you know, I am telling the truth on wheel bearing here. Look at this. Would you say that's a wheel bearing problem? I would definitely say so. He's loose in there. But anyways, yeah, actually you're better off to push this back first, I should have said, and then loosen off your nuts. That way it gives you room to get in there with a socket, because if you don't push this back first, you won't have enough room to get in there with a socket to loosen off the back nuts. Just so you guys know. Alrighty guys, so I took off the 3 bolts from the back side here, and basically took off the backing plate and tap this loose now. Now that that's loose, what you want to do is take out this little screw here that holds this on for your ABS wire, and then basically just unclip these clips as you go along, follow it back to where it clips into here, and that's where your new ABS wire will go on. So basically that's what I'm going to do next, is take that out and just slide this out and clean her up. So there you go for now. Okay, so basically I just removed the hub, removed that one screw that was holding there, a couple of clips holding along the frame, pull it out, put it off to the side for now. Now we're going to clean this up here. There's a little bit of rust on the surface, and then also on this surface here, you want to make sure that surface is nice and clean. So basically all I'm doing is I'm going to get in there with a wire brush, and I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to clean this all up, and then we'll come back to you. Alrighty, so just to show you guys, I just wire brushed this area here, and just this inner lip a little bit on there. Now what I'm going to do is put a little bit of never seeds along in here. Just, you know, never hurts to have a little bit of never seeds just to make sure the next guy doesn't have to work getting there out. So that's the next step, put in some never seeds. Then we're going to take the new hub and we're going to just slide it into place and bolt it back in from the back with some Loctite on the bolts. And these 3 back bolts that hold it in are, according to the specs, should be roughly 85 to 90 foot-pounds. It'd be the proper torque or recommended torque from what I understand. Some people say 60 foot-pounds, other people say 100 foot-pounds. From what I've seen and what I've researched, I would say between 85 and 90 foot-pounds would be proper torque on those 3 bolts. So that's what we're going with. So I'm going to get that back into place and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we got the hub back into place, slid back into place. We torqued the 3 bolts. But as you can see, I put a little bit of never seize around, like I was going to say, or on the back edge there on the thing. Torqued the bolts to 90 foot-pounds is what we used. Okay, put the backing plate back on. Just the 3 screws on the backing plate here. So as you guys can see, ran the ABS cable back. 1 little bolt there, a couple of clips there, clip up here, and then basically it just clips in right here after, right in the front here. I just got to disconnect the old one and reclip the new one. Now for this nut here, you don't want to run it up too tight, because you want to run, like if you use the air gun or whatever else, I always put it on by hand till I can see the top of the thread like this first, which I did here. And then with the air gun, you're just snugging it up there to get your pull on it. But just snug with the air gun. Don't go tight with the air gun, because this one you want to torque as well. So we'll torque this up once the tire's back in place and this is on the ground. Then this gets torqued to spec. But for now, you just want to run it up so it's not doing this here. Like right now, it's still loose in there, but you want to just run it up tight just so it's not doing that. And basically, you don't want to, like I say, at the most you want to put on with the air gun is till it stops. You don't want to go pack, 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 pack. You just till it stops with the air gun, and that's good enough for now. When you torque it up, that way you'll get your proper torque specs on it. Once that's run up and snug, just put your caliper back into place, your 2 15mm bolts back into place. And once you have those back into place, you're pretty much ready for the tire. Put the tire back into place, and then we torque this to spec. And that's pretty much the end of her. So what I'll do is I'll get everything back in place, and then I'll give you the torque spec on this one. What did I say it was? Hang on. Give me a second. I wrote it down here.
175, I think you said you're going to go to.
No, 180. Because the torque specs between there is 157 to 212 is what the recommended torque specs is on that nut. So from what I can see, some people torque them to 162, other people torque them to 175. I've seen one person torque them at 190. But like I say, it's 157 to 212 is the torque spec. So I'm going to torque it at 180 foot-pounds, just so you guys know what the torque spec is on there. And that's where it's going to be torqued to. Alrighty, and torque is very important for this in particular job, because that's what puts your preset on your bearings. And if your torque ain't proper, this ain't gonna last. It'll only last a week or two and you'll be doing it again. So you want to make sure that when you do this job in particular, that this torque spec right here is your main torque spec. You want to make sure that this one is 100% correct if possible. Like I said, I'm doing 180 foot-pounds because of the research I did. That's where I'm going to keep it at. So like I say, depending on the mechanic, each individual mechanic likes his own torque specs. Some like to torque it a little bit close, like to the 157, 158, 162. Other people like to go a little bit higher, like the 190, 195. I like to go right in the middle. And I find if I'm right in the middle, I got to be right. At 180, to me, that's proper. So that's the way I work on it. So just so that you guys know, everybody has different torque specs for that in particular nut. With mine, I'm going with 180. And if there's ever a problem, then I know I'll have to look it up a little bit more and try and figure it out better. But that's where I'm going with the 180. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Okay, so with everything hooked up, all bolts double checked for tightness, everything else. The only thing left to do now, we've got the wheel in place, sitting on the ground. We need to tighten the lug nuts here in a crisscross pattern to 100 foot-pounds. And we need to tighten the center down to 180. And once that's done, that's the end of the wheel bearing procedure. And that's how you do it, as the way I do it anyway. I'm not saying that this is the proper way to do it. I'm saying this is the way I do it. So anyways, guys, job done. New wheel bearings in. And I'm a happy camper. Talk to y'all later. Okay guys, the only thing left to do now, I got the shop cleaned up. Tires are all been retorqued to 100 foot-pounds. Center bearing to 180. So basically that's the end of the job. Now it's for the test drive is all I got left to do. So I'll take it around the city for a bit. And then I'll take it up on the highway. And I'll come back. And when we get back, I'll let you guys know how it all went. So in fact, I might even let you know as we're going. We'll see. Okay, so we're on a test drive here. We've been driving around the city for about a half an hour. Now we're going to take it up on the highway for about a half an hour and we'll see how all that goes. So far so good. Seems like we got the problem solved. We'll let you know when we get back to the shop. Well, we made it up to Deacon's Corner here and just turning around there, picked up some cigars, and now we're heading home.
So, and food. Lots of food.
Lots of food, yeah.
Not too fat to move.
Yeah, we ate at the A&W.
Uh-oh.
Oh, forgot my seatbelt. Okay, guys, gotta go. Gotta put on my seatbelt. Yeah, we're just coming back in here, and it's getting quite foggy now. Just as I said it, the fog stops.
Yeah, it's patches all over.
It's patches of fog, I guess. But anyways, this here part of the video is for someone special to me. He's a good friend that I met on YouTube, and he's like a brother from another mother. So he says he might possibly come visit me in June, and he'll be coming in off the 59.
Which is right there.
So basically, this is a 59 right here, and this is Fermor that I'm on. So that's the 59 on this side, this is Fermor. This is where you would meet. There's a Petrocan there. The Winnipeg Canadian Mint or whatever is right here on that side, and this is Fermor. So if you're coming in this way, I'll just show you a little bit about drive-in, so you got an idea on what you're going to see as you're coming in. I know it's nighttime, it's not the best time to videotape, but I figured I'd get this for you, Rod. Oh, by the way, the person I'm talking about, so everybody else knows, is TLC Bear 2, Rod. Me and him have talked on Skype probably, a couple hours a week now for the past year, and we became really good friends. So this is for you, Rod. Gives you an idea of what you're coming into. On the left you can see a Shoppers Drug Mart, and basically there's a Canadian Tire, A&W, McDonald's, all that good stuff in this mall here. So it's all convenience for you as you're coming in. And basically about 2 minutes down the road, I'll show you that motel I was talking about. And if you guys do come in the end of June there, I'm sure we're gonna have a good time together. At least let's hope so.
Don't get too drunk.
Yeah, well, yeah, we don't get too drunk. He doesn't drink.
Well, we'll see if we can make him trip coming out of the hotel.
Yeah.
Or out of the restaurant.
Yeah, right. But anyways, yeah, so this is basically Fermor I'm on now. And you got your KFC there. I know you like that spot. I know I do anyway. Taco Bell, KFC. But Boyd Auto Body, Glass. And then basically you'll hit the 70-kilometer-an-hour zone here. And there's a railroad track. Just so you know where you're going. Just give you a little bit more update here as we go along.
It's red light, so you might as well just pause the video for a minute.
Yeah, I'll pause the video for a second here. It's a red light. Anyway, we made it through the light now. So anyway, you just continue going here. And if you can see this, there's a little bridge right here. You see that little bridge?
You gotta focus, I think. Do you want me to hold the camera, maybe?
Yeah, here, you do it. I'll talk, you do it. Anyway, that little bridge is right there.
It's probably focused.
You cross the little bridge, and just to your left here now, just coming up, you'll see these apartment blocks. And there's that path Curtis was talking about on that side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Our house is just down there.
Yeah.
Well, his house.
There's your travel lodge right here. That would be your travel lodge. We're on that side.
Right there.
So that's where you want to go. Anyways, that's it for now. And as far as the drive goes, everybody, everything worked out 100%. The wheel bearing is fixed. We have no problems with it. It's running 100% perfect, so that was definitely the problem. Okay, so we're back in the shop. The test drive went 100% perfect. The truck is running 100% perfect. Everything's good. We retorqued that one front wheel again just to make sure. And that's the way you guys save from calling a tow truck. Fix it before it breaks totally. So anyways, before your truck breaks, if you know there's a problem, look into it. Take the time to look into it. And as soon as you know there's a problem is the time to fix it, not until the problem breaks before you fix it. And you'll save a lot of money that way, because I could have let that go until it broke, and I probably would end up wrecking the hub and probably a couple of tie rods and maybe a ball joint and maybe wrecking my new tires. So just so you guys know, save yourself a tow truck. If you feel a problem or you feel something's wrong, look into it. And away we go. And that's the end of this video. And thanks for watching. And I appreciate all the comments and the views and people who share my videos. So thank you very much. Bye.